Hey, everybody, welcome to the No Fudd Zone podcast. This is just a little conversation we do every week where me and some viewers get together. And remember, if you want to be part of this, sign up. People, it's hard to get people who want to be participating. It's like people like to talk when they're not seen, but they don't want to talk when people can actually hear them. You know what I mean? But like I said, we get together, we talk about whatever you all want us to talk about. So if you got any questions, send them in via either the YouTube super chat or the PayPal link at the top, or you can put stuff in the live chat, or you can send me emails. Sometimes during these group chats where we get chatting, we don't get to a lot of the live chats. I apologize for that in advance. Sometimes we do, maybe we will, but often because of the things that paid got to have priority, the emails and the live chat end up getting pushed to the wayside. But I wanted to get started here today. We're joined by Scorch and Welper. Say hello.
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 If anybody else wants to join, let me know. We had one other person that was coming, but they did not.
And John Mandrick isn't here this week.
Yeah, he could be dead. He's old.
Oh, is he?
He's older than me, so.
Okay, so he used to listen to radio programs.
He probably did. He probably set smoke signals and beat on hollow logs. He's pretty damn old. But let's see here. We got a couple questions coming in first. We'll get to those, and then we'll see if the chat actually has any comments here. We got a question here. What would you recommend as a handgun? Started collecting, looking to widen my collection. I have a 1911 and a few FCU type guns. Well, I would think first thing you need if you got those things was a revolver. Now you need a real gun. Oh, there's Pocket Sand. He's here now.
Oh,
he got the thing. So that's the question he's asking. What do you think he needs now? He's got a 1911 and then like the FCU type guns. I'm guessing like APX, P320, stuff like that. So striker fired polymer guns. I would say he needs a revolver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with a GP100.
That's true. Let's see here. Where was Captain Combat was my childhood hero. The time when I was in his audience was the time of my life. He is better than Mr. Raygun. I think someone's being funny there. Also, we got Sean Bain asking 32 ACP versus 32 Mag or 327 Federal Magnum. Oh, that's pretty easy. 32 ACP is nowhere near 32 H&R Mag or 327 Magnum. It's much less do it all round. Now the difference between H&R Mag and 3027 Federal, I'm not really up on what the differences between those two are and how big the difference is. Does anybody else have any knowledge on that?
It's a decent difference. I'm not really sure which way I'd choose on that, though. It would probably be by availability.
Between the 32 H&R and the 327?
Yeah, and I don't know which one is more available really at this point.
Oh yeah, 32 is extremely rare. So, and you're paying more and getting less.
Yeah.
And I understand there's people that love their Beretta Cheetahs chambered in 32, but realistically, that ammo's not that easy to come by anymore.
No, I got a little Tomcat chambered in it. I got two Tomcats chambered in it. I like them, but they wouldn't be my go-to gun for much anything. I can't carry anything bigger gun is what those are for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't count on 32 for much. I've had a couple, and I mean, if you hit them in the head, maybe, but yeah.
Are you talking the 32 ACP or the 32 H&R?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about 32 ACP.
Okay, yeah.
32 H&R is a bit of a different story.
Yeah, completely different rounds. Yeah. Well, it's funny they were comparing the two.
What are the bragging rights? Yeah, for the 32 ACP, that it's more powerful than a 25.
I guess. I mean, it's just a stage. It's not anything I would call special. And I think back in the day, a lot of popular guns got made in it because it was the option, for not quite a 380, but not a 25. So yeah, they've had staying power. I think that's pretty much it.
A bit more stopping power than a Saturday Night Special. Yeah, it would be its claim to fame.
Pretty much, I would say, yes. Let's see here. We got another one. I've got to type this up here real quick because I put the wrong link at the top of the page. Let's see if that's the right one. There's the right one. I just put the link to the actual chat that people are already in. All right, we got. Let's see. We got some other questions coming in here real quick. I want to get to. It's hard for me to find. It's easier to find the ones over here. See, this is why I don't like having to look stuff up when we're doing this. Why I like to get stuff early. Let's see here. Brian Smith chimed in here. Let's see what he had to say. He said, that was him asking me to make Captain Combat shirts. Edward Howerton chimed in and said, we should bring on NEA and debate his views on mandatory auto insurance. I have a feeling it would get spicy based on his chat last night. Did anybody see that chat?
I didn't.
Because I don't know what you're talking about. I'm assuming
NEA seems to be doing well in Michigan. I wouldn't expect a lifelong Texan to do that well in Michigan.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Is it Michigan where he moved to? I knew it was somewhere up north. I didn't know where.
It's a short drive from Flint, and I forget what the name of the city is, but I think he works in Flint and lives in the safer area.
He's drinking the water, and that's why he's okay. He's
delusional. All that lead.
Losing brain cells. He probably doesn't know what's going on.
He said he's off for the next 6 days, so he ain't got any excuse not to come over here.
That's true. And I don't know what his view on insurance is or why it would get heated. I mean, I don't know if I would care enough about someone's views on personal insurance to get upset about it. I mean, it could either be, your view can either be, I think everyone should have mandatory insurance. And I'd be like, okay, I understand where you're coming from. I don't agree. Or your view is no one should have to have mandatory insurance. And I'm be like, okay, I see where you're coming from. But I may not agree. I don't see how that could be a heated topic. I'm missing something here.
I think the overwhelming majority want people to have insurance.
I thought people should have.
Into you. Well, yeah, in case they slam into you.
But don't you have the option of insuring yourself in case that happens?
Yeah, if you're well off, which a lot of drivers are not, unfortunately. A lot of them don't want to empty their 401k into a payment like that.
I mean, I kind of look at it as truck drivers being the big problem with that. If you're not required to carry insurance and then you crash a truck full of hydrogen peroxide into somebody's grandmother and kill 5 people or something,
Oh, yeah.
Without insurance, you're not going to cover that. Those people are just out, whatever they're out.
Yeah.
Well,
what are they going to do?
They have insurance against that happening to them, which most people can't, But here's the thing also, if you get into where the state is mandating that you have this insurance policy, should it not be up to the state to provide that? Like add an extra $20 to everybody's registration and there's just a pool of money for accidents or something? Because if they're requiring it, shouldn't they have to provide it in an affordable manner or subsidize? Well, I don't want them subsidizing it to a private company because then it'd be all 90% profit. But you get into that kind of argument when you say people have to have something, because if they can't afford it, like if you can't afford insurance, does that mean you don't get to drive? I guess it does. So I see all kinds of problems from both sides, from the you got to have it or the you don't got to have it. Seems like both of them have some fundamental flaws with the way the system is. So,
I mean, not that it's really all that helpful, but I remember as a kid, my father was hit by a truckload of Mexicans, and they all got out of the truck and fled. They caught a few of them, but all were here illegal, and he was just out of a truck because he had liability, and they had no insurance.
Yep. Someone just hit my sister, and if they didn't have insurance, she would just been out of car because we bought her new car with their insurance. So, but if I'd have known people didn't have insurance, I might keep a replacement coverage on a car that I don't normally do. Of course, that would jack my rates up so high. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if there's an easy fix here, but I'm betting you could charge like when we pay for our registration and stuff, where's all that fucking shit going? It's supposed to be fixing roads and everything. Doesn't seem to be fixing roads in most places.
Oh yeah, that's what the government does best, is embezzle and misappropriate money, like they did with that 1998 tobacco settlement. That was all supposed to go towards the cancer patients. And when my mom got cancer from smoking, and I said, "Where's the money?" They said, "Sorry, we already spent it on roads and whatever the hell we felt like."
They didn't spend it on roads. They spend it on road taxes and on petroleum taxes, which means they paid the taxes for the petroleum companies and everybody else. They're like, we took the money for your mom's cancel settlement and we made it so that Exxon didn't have to pay taxes this year.
Yeah, everything but trying to stop people from smoking and paying for their medical care when they got sick. That whole thing was a giant lie. It was a hustle. We all got duped, all 50 states.
Well, another thing that they did is, I love how a lot of the states, the companies that, said we're going to do things to promote healthy living and stop smoking and this other thing. And all these tobacco companies put out anti-vaping commercials.
Yeah.
And they considered that. They said, well, that satisfies our requirement because that's just like smoking. And no, it's not. It's not anywhere near as dangerous as smoking. I'd rather everybody vape than smoke. I'd rather nobody vape, but I'd rather everybody vape than smoke. Using your own money to the federal money and your own money that federal matching that to promote a healthy lifestyle by slamming your competition. I don't think that counts as public service.
Yeah, well, one of the issues that's come up, there was a 17-year-old who'd been vaping since she was 13 and she just got permanent popcorn lung. Mm-hmm. But I don't hear about that all the time. That's just one in a few thousand people or something.
It's even probably less than that. Cancer, however, it's a pretty big problem.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know how we got on that from the other thing. Let's see here. We got Ryan McFarland chiming in here. And he said, how do we change policing for the better? How do we form a better community? Well, the thing we're going to do with policing is I'm almost like burn the whole system down and start over. Just start rehiring people with a different criteria. You actually hire people to be public servants and law enforcement instead of being revenue gatherers and armed thugs serving the government's will. You'd have to start all over, and plus take all the fucking federal involvement out of it entirely. Your local law enforcement should be funded locally, your state and county level. None of this federal law funding bullshit that just turns them into private armies for the federal government.
Yeah, they do that because they want the cooperation.
We want you to cooperate with us when we try to enforce. When we come in and enforce a law that's possibly unconstitutional and definitely unpopular, we want you guys to just bow down and enforce it because you don't want to lose your big paychecks, your cushy benefits and everything else. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, think about what everybody else in this chat makes. And then think about if you had only graduated high school, you could be making $160,000 a year income, and then probably another $20,000 or $30,000 deferred benefits. And then when you retire, you get a pension, usually state and a private pension. And then you also can get, $200,000 or $300,000 if you just didn't get cancer or something because you never used your health benefits to any extreme level. I had a friend who retired as a county sheriff over here. He got a payment of $300,000 when he retired because he never used his insurance that much.
Wow.
Do we get that when we retire? We don't get that, but the police unions get that. So,
yeah.
I mean, if we break up the police unions, that would be a very good step towards reducing the corruption that our police forces in large harbor.
Police should only be allowed to be member of the same public union that covers firemen, meter readers, all that stuff. They shouldn't have their own separate union. It's probably the most corrupt union in the nation. Defends some of the most disgusting positions I've ever seen. If you go through and look at the lawsuits the police unions are actually fighting, and it's usually, oh, you fired this guy because he got drunk and ran into someone and killed a teenager. We don't accept that. You're giving him his job back, or oh, you're firing this guy because he raped a couple of women. Well, he did that in his private time, so you're giving him his job back. I mean, the lawsuits they're defending are just horrid. They're like, how could you ever be on that side of the issue? But they do it constantly.
Yeah, I just can't stand.
Go ahead.
I was saying I just can't stand by federal or not federal, but public safety employees unionizing and basically, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. I apologize. I don't believe that jobs that are purview of the public safety should be able to be unionized because it allows for too much corruption. Imagine if the Army decided to unionize.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
just think about how much spending would go up for military then.
Yeah, and something I want to say is I don't like the race-based police unions. Like they'll say it's the Black Police Officers Union or the Latino Police Officers Union. Hello, this long after Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech, we should not have race-based unions in policing.
Well, we shouldn't have policing.
You are 100% correct. I wasn't even aware that was a thing.
Someone just asked a question. Someone just asked in here, police can make $160,000 a year. Yeah, here even in just Portland, they start off with a base salary of like 95 to 105. And then with any overtime, etc., the average salary is $158,000. In places like Los Angeles, the average after overtime and special events is like nearly $200,000. So
defunding the police saves the taxpayers a lot of money.
It does. And I'm not a person that says defund the police. I'm a person that's like reduce their budgets, put them back to doing what police are supposed to do. Law enforcement, public service, public safety. That's all they do. And for other things, they don't be mental health. They don't go on mental health calls and stuff like that. Have people that do that. Cops aren't needed on most mental health calls. And I remember in Seattle, what's his name, Washington gun law or something. He was talking about they're trying to sign the death warrant for social workers. They want social workers to be the first line of defense against people for mental health calls. If they want them to go out there without police officers or just one police officer, they're signing their death warrant. That's unheard. I'm like, dude, that's what we already do already. Mental health workers have been doing that forever. They've been first line against mental health issues. In lots of states, we go out first before the police ever go out. And it's never been a problem. We're not getting shot left and right. When we do get shot left and right, when the police fucking come. That's when people get all agitated and aggravated and, the police just exacerbate everything. And you end up with people stabbing each other or shooting each other. Usually when a mental health person who's trained to actually handle the situation shows up, all that happens is the situation gets de-escalated. So that whole thing of, that's unheard of and they're signing death warrants. It's what I did 30 years ago. The exact same way they're proposing it. So you're full of bullshit. You're fear-mongering. And you're just defending the police with your fear-mongering because you're one of those boot-licking, thin blue line assholes. I ended up not liking that guy very much at all. Apparently, neither do any of the people that work with him in the pro-gun movement in the state of Washington.
I kind of view it as something that should be split because if you're introducing social workers, therapists, psychologists into these situations with possibly violent people, they have to have some sort of protection. So you get them through CLEAT, arm them like you do warrant officers.
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
Make sure they have the tools to defend themselves.
We've been doing this for at least 50 years I know of. I did it myself 30 years ago. The statistical anomaly, it's a statistical anomaly that you end up injured. And most of us are trained in how to make sure that the situation doesn't go crazy, how to not step into a dangerous situation. I mean, we're not going to, like, a guy's swinging a samurai sword, we're not stepping in. Then we're going to call the police. They're going to come deal with it. If someone's just standing on the ledge of his apartment building, we're going to step in. If police show up, that'll probably end up with him jumping or something bad happening, whereas it's a much bigger chance it won't escalate. Or if it's just someone calling in saying, my son's agitated, he's got autism, blah, blah, blah. Professional shows up, probably not going to go bad. Cops show up, 80% chance it's going to go bad. So we don't need to be armed and trained. We can do our jobs without that. And the 99% of the circumstances where we're involved don't need a couple of armed yahoos coming in and trying to act like they control the world. That's not how you deal with those situations.
No, I'm not suggesting training the cops to be psychologists.
No, I'm saying don't arm
saying-
psychologists. Most of us don't want to be armed when we go out. Most of us don't need to be armed. We go out in groups. We go out in pairs. We don't go out by ourselves usually. Usually we go in groups of 3 or 4 when things like this happen. And, and you have a bad situation. They can have orderlies that could go with us that are, more physically capable of dealing with the situation. But if it came to something like weapons and stuff like that being brandished, we don't usually get involved in that. That's a call the police thing. The things we used to get involved in is like I said, oh, my son has autism. He's agitated. He's throwing stuff around in his room. He's making a public ruckus. Well, used to be a caseworker could go out and deal with something like that. But nowadays they send the police because they've defunded mental health to a degree where there's nobody to send out. So they send out the police instead of the police de-escalating the situation, dealing with the situation in an informed and capable manner. They just point a gun at them and say, calm the fuck down. And that ends up with someone getting shot. And that's what you want to avoid.
And sadly, my local police have told me there are no places to take mentally disturbed people, particularly vagrants who make death threats against other people and who are clearly not in their right mind. They said, we have no place to take this person, and we're not taking him to jail. So essentially this person is just out.
All you can usually do is take him to the county hospital and they'll check him out and then let him go.
Yeah. Most of the asylums were done away with years ago in Oklahoma. I think OU Medical has one, but I think it's a private asylum too.
Well, I don't like the word asylum. Care units are better, mental health care units. When someone has cancer and they go to the hospital, they don't say they sent them away to the asylum. They sent them off to a care unit. And, that's the way it should be more in mental health. They demonized mental health always. It's always the dark, spooky asylum building with lightning going off in the background. And they're dropping a guy off in, a straitjacket who's screaming he's going to kill everybody, when that's not the reality of mental health. So,
well, I mean, I kind of agree with the base root of it. I mean, an asylum is a safe place to house people who can't be housed elsewhere. You're giving them asylum.
Yeah, but we're not looking to just house people. We're looking for mental health care. We're not looking. It's not a place where we're just going to stick them and forget them. It's a place where they're going to actually get care they need.
Yeah, and unfortunately, yeah.
Oh, hold on here. What was you going to say?
I was going to say one of the reasons that so many of these institutions got closed down was because of the book One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which later became a movie. And there was this loud outcry to close these places. And that probably wasn't a good idea.
Well, and it was because of misperception. It's the people who back in the day were paying the most taxes were corporations. Corporations paid most of the taxes. They had tax rates up to 60% if they didn't utilize their tax breaks. So they said, we don't want to pay taxes for this stuff, so we got to demonize it. And we still see that all the time. Things get demonized, like, healthcare is horrible. You don't want anyone giving you healthcare. You want to earn it, all that kind of stuff, because it's one of the biggest expenses for employers. So it's just crap, and it's one of the biggest tax burden things. So they demonized mental health care. They demonized a fictional version of psychology, of psych care. And they used that to cut their own taxes. And Reagan went along and closed everything down and lowered their tax rates. And the way they showed, like in Congress, when they said, well, we're going to be taking in $100 billion less because we're giving rich people a tax break, we're making up for it by cutting $100 billion from mental health care because nobody wants it anyway. And people are just fooled into voting against their own best interests.
Yeah, I think we're all better off when we have these facilities to take in the people who are wandering around causing problems.
Yeah, because there's some people that aren't fit to be in society.
Yeah, and it's inhumane. Yeah, let them.
Ghost Shadow said, thoughts on the 9x23 Winchester, same size as 38 Super, but more powerful than 357 mag, 90 grain at over 2,000 feet per second, 124 grain at over 1,500 feet per second. Well, I don't really think about 923 Winchester, to be honest. Anybody else out there think about it at all?
Is that one of those Wilder rounds? Really
I've
round?
never heard
The
of
old round.
What'd you say, Welper?
That round's from like a long time ago, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't
Like back in the early
think
1900s.
I've ever even seen hide or hair of it in ages, if at all. So
Yeah.
so I
There's all
don't think
kinds
about
of
it at all.
It's all kinds of intermediate rounds that kind of disappeared because you either wanted one or the other, and that was right in the middle.
Yeah, and you don't need everything. I mean, if you're on a scale from 1 to 10, do you really need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, or you just need 1, 5, and 10?
Yeah, 1, 5, and 10.
Clinton Seattle said, bad Leroy Brown had a 32 gun in his pocket for fun and a razor in his shoe. Yes, he did. It was probably, I would think, could have been a little Colt. A lot of people say it's just a little Saturday night special, but I think it's probably like one of those Colt vest pocket guns because Leroy Brown was fancy. I don't think he'd have a cheap little gun.
Yeah, and here's
I
the thing.
would think of the.
But
it could have even been like a PPK.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you're as tough as Leroy Brown, you don't need that much stopping power.
But back then, people forget that back then a 32 gun was respectable self-defense handgun. It was, people didn't carry around a lot of big, heavy calibers back in that day. And usually anybody who did carry a gun, it was something they could stick in their pocket. Something small. So like the Colt vest pocket, I think that's probably what he had, like a Colt vest pocket gun in 32.
Yeah, and by the way, speaking of those little Saturday night specials, the McCloskey couple got their weapons back, including that little Brinko, whatever she had.
I would have told them to keep that if it was me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a non-functional gun, as it turns out. It was broken, and it had been used in evidence, and she wasn't supposed to be handling it, Mrs. McCloskey, when she held off the angry mob.
I think it was a part of a case they were handling or something.
Yeah, wasn't it like a Jimenez or a Raven? It was something, one of those classic.
I remember seeing pictures of it, and it was nothing anybody in here would want.
No, pure garbage.
Let's see if we got any questions coming over here. Smith & Wesson is dropping hints on social media showing the 3rd generation pistol. Do you think those all metal semi-autos are coming back? Boy, I hope so. I would love to see more all metal guns because I'm so sick of polymer guns. I can't stand it.
I would love a steel frame.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to say, Yankee, you had said that you one time that you liked feeling the weight of the gun, right? Didn't you say you like that?
Well, yeah, I do like that. It's comforting, I think, feeling your gun and picking it up and it not feeling like a toy. I think it's I like that. So.
Oh yeah, because I have what do you call that? I've carried on my waist before, and sometimes I don't even know it's there, and it's like, did I drop this gun?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just so light.
A lot of the 3rd generation Smiths had aluminum frames, so it's not like they're going to be super heavy. It'd be like the AXG compared to the P30. It's not going to be like the Walther, like the Q5 compared to the Q5 steel frame. That actually uses a steel frame, and it's like a boat anchor, but it's more for competition. Guns put out more for carry would have alloy frames, more like a Beretta 32, I mean, a Beretta 92, and I would welcome it. I would love to see more alloy frame guns, maybe even more scandium framed guns. I'm okay with that too. But
Yeah, and doesn't it
tired of
reduce the
polymer.
recoil as well?
It does, and I'm tired of polymer, and I'm tired of striker fired. I mean, I think it's run its course as far as I'm concerned. And now people are starting to realize some of the dangers of striker fire, some of the shortcomings of striker fired guns, and they're acting like, oh, these new dangers. This one gun brought all these dangers to the market. No, they've always been there. You just didn't have the internet blowing it up in your face back when it happened with the Glocks and other guns since then, or when the FBI was trying to demonize striker fired in general. You just didn't see that because you didn't see it on 60 Minutes and you didn't have the internet. But now you see what striker fired, what their limitations are. And I don't like them. I don't like striker fire guns. They scare me. Won't carry them. So let's see here. What do you think of the Beretta Dark series? Are they just prettied up, or are they anything better somehow? Haven't looked into them. Well, I haven't looked into them either. What's the Beretta Dark series? Does anybody know?
Sounds new. Beretta Dark series.
I've never seen. I'm going to look it up real quick, but I've never heard of the Beretta Dark series.
92X Performance. Yeah, Optic Dark series.
Optic Dark series. Let's see.
Basically, it's got a fancy paint job. That's what I'm seeing from the outset.
Oh, yeah. Just it looks more like it's got more competition style sights on it. So what's it actually for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Improve functional and ergonomic features. Well, that always helps.
Yeah, that's good that you can hold it and everything. Yeah, I don't know what the actually changes are. I don't like those sights at all. Those are horrible. I mean, it looks like you're gonna be smacking your finger on that every time you go to thumb your hammer back if you ever do. But see, I don't like that feature, the sights, but I don't know what it's doing different.
It's not the worst I've ever seen or the best.
No, I'd have to see the price on them first to see, is it justified? Is it not a big difference? Is it not a big difference? What? Let's see.
Yeah, I'm putting in cost here. Whoa, about $1,700.
Oh yeah, that's way too much. Just get a Beretta 92X. Unless you're looking for like competition or something, but that doesn't look like a carry gun to me. So, but I wouldn't pay it for them. I'd just get a Beretta 92X. Let's see here. I think we're all caught up on the super chats over here, and I think we got everything over here. Oh no, wait, we got a couple coming in over here. Go Shadow says 9 by 23 Winchester came out in 1996. I still don't know much about it at all. I haven't seen it.
It looks like it is 38 Super. They put a taper on the case and took the semi rim off of it. Basically, it's the same thing. Other than that,
so they just sized down the round and tapered the case.
Well, they're both 9 by 23.
Oh,
so they have basically the same length case, but they put a taper to it.
Okay. Paul Rollerson says, wife in mental care facility, $32,700 per month, and that is state facility. How to pay for mental health? Had the divorce to qualify for Medicaid. Unfortunately, that happens quite a bit.
Damn, that's depressing.
Yeah, it is, and it's sad that people have to get divorced in their late years to help get some sort of care provided to them. But yeah, if you've got to go into an Alzheimer's unit or any type of mental care unit or anything like that, you're talking big money. It ain't going to be cheap. I mean, you could pretty much put them on a cruise and send them off for the same amount of money every year.
Wow.
I was looking at retirement homes one day, just so I could get some brochures and leave them around when my mother was here. Just to let her know, you're not in charge no more. It's me now. Yeah, I was like, I could put you on a 1-week cruise to Alaska every week of the year for less than the base price of most of these mental health care units, the Alzheimer units. Wow. It only costs like $600, $700 to put someone on a cruise ship to Alaska, but it's like 50 grand usually for just the mental health care.
Yeah, and in your particular case, with you being so close to your mother's age, like you're less than a generation younger than her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're thinking of your own age-related issues as she gets up there in years.
Yeah, because I'm only 15 years younger than her.
Yeah.
She's 15 years older than me.
It doesn't seem like it'd be hard to scavenge $1 billion or $2 out of our defense budget to cover basic mental health and help on the home front.
Or just raise taxes on corporations to where they actually pay taxes again. Corporations making billions of dollars a year shouldn't be paying zero in taxes. That should be unheard of. That people should be revolting over that, but they're programmed to feel differently. Mad Dog says, for everyone who has had experience with the Beretta CX4 Storm 40 Smith & Wesson, worth buying. Oh, absolutely. I love that rifle.
Yeah, I haven't owned one, but everybody I know that owns one is satisfied with it. They love it.
Low recoiling, accurate, cool looking, and if you need another reason, the Marines used them on Battlestar Galactica.
I really wish they'd bring it back in 10 millimeter. That'd be badass.
It would
minimal retool.
I definitely wish they would too. That gun in a 10 millimeter would be an awesome little carbine. I would buy that if it came out tomorrow in a 10 millimeter. That'd be top on my list of things to buy, I think. But yeah, they're definitely worth having. My best friend's got one. It's awesome. And I kicked myself because we went into the gun shop together, saw it sitting there, and I picked it up and looked at it, put it back down. He picked it up, looked at it, and bought it. So I was like, God damn it, I knew I should have bought that. Let's see here. Did some of y'all say you had topics you wanted to get to tonight real quick before we...
I did. I wanted to talk about the Navy veteran in the wheelchair that was shot, because I've got more information about that since all this has come to light.
Okay.
So the man's name is Harold Powell. He's a 68-year-old Navy veteran in a wheelchair who was shot by a lunatic stolen valor crusader named Gregory Tim on the Seattle waterfront, who had previously driven his van into a tent full of Trump campaign workers in 2020 in Jacksonville, Florida. So this man walked up, he was looking for trouble, and he found it. He ripped the man's military patch off of his wheelchair and said, "I'll only give it back to you if you can prove to me that you're a veteran." So this man has broken so many laws. So then the man in the wheelchair is agitated. He only has one leg because he was hit by a drunk driver when he got out of the Navy, lost a leg above the knee. So this man has been miserable for decades. So he drives his electric wheelchair full speed at the guy, pulls out a knife, and then pulls out an airsoft gun. And that's when the aggressor pulls out his real gun and fires one shot into the man's torso. And thankfully, it did not kill him. All it did was break a rib.
Must have been 9/11.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. This madman is just setting us all back, in the 2A community, because all the haters are going to say, "Well, this is what happens when just anyone can buy a gun."
Well, there's so many lessons there that go both ways. It's like, I hate the Valor auditors or whatever they consider themselves.
Yeah.
In fact, most of the ones that go out there like, oh, 2A Valor, you probably spent half the time in the service in the brig and then the rest of the time cleaning toilets, because I doubt you were a premier soldier or anything. I don't really see any medals on your chest that mean anything. So I've never understood the whole idea that there's somehow any valor attached to just having been in the military. I never did anything valorous in the military, period. I only ever even came under fire and fired back one time in my life, and that was by mistake. And never did anything extremely brave. And valor means you an act of extreme bravery in the face of fear of loss of life. It's not just, hey, I did my time and did my job. Oh, great, you did your job. So do the people who work at McDonald's. Neither one of them are jobs that most people would want to do. And I'm glad you do them. Somebody needs to do them. I'm glad you're a soldier, and you can take great pride in the fact you served your country. but it doesn't give you some sort of badge of valor that you get to go around and police other people and harass other people, especially people that probably have mental health issues. Because let's face it, anyone that goes out and plays soldier probably has mental health issues, unless they're actively trying to scam people with it. I think the biggest stolen valor, and the only one I'd be worried with, it's not the guy out on the street wearing fatigues. It's not the guy in the the Subway sandwich shop wearing a hat he shouldn't be wearing, or anybody in the airport dressed the way they shouldn't be dressed. It's the politicians who claim shit that they never did. That's the only time it bothers me. But like I said, if you committed an act of valor in the military, good on you. I hope you wear a hat with your medal pictured right on it every day so people can thank you for what you did. But just serving in the military doesn't make you anything special. Seeing the military from the criminal investigation side, I can tell you what I saw mostly in the military was alcoholism at a rate several times higher than national average, domestic assault several times higher than the national average, regular assault several times higher than the national average, dog fighting, theft, cockfighting, human trafficking, and all of it at a far higher rate than the national average. So don't give me it's only the best and the brightest. Anybody that served knows it isn't. And I think a lot of these guys, that if that's the only thing they got to crow about is that they were in the military, they're probably losers.
And here's the thing. People are doing this because they want to get hits on YouTube and TikTok. This stolen valor thing took off about 10 or 15 years ago. There was a retired Navy SEAL named Don Shipley. And he's a good enough guy, and he was flying all over the U.S. exposing stolen valor. He was busting people out saying, you are not a Navy SEAL. You never were. And sure enough, when he called them out, they could not verify the unit they served with. They were completely full of it, and he busted them. Well, this led to a bunch of copycats who never served at all, just going out and harassing people and saying, oh, stolen valor. And in many cases, these were actual veterans that had served that they're accusing of not serving. In this latest incident, the guy says, I'm not giving you your patch back unless you can prove you're a veteran. Just way out of line.
What he did was assault and yanking that off his wheelchair and all that other stuff. And actually, he could also probably be charged with conspiracy to commit a crime, which turns a misdemeanor, higher, because he went out with the intention of doing these things and probably has a cameraman and all this other stuff. But you don't do that. That's bad. And that's one of the lessons you learn from this. That kind of asshole needs to be gotten rid of. But then again, you also don't pull out a knife and a gun because someone steals your patch.
That was a bit excessive, yes.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of outweighed by the other man's behavior, because he's got the gun, right? And then he commits the crime, which is stealing the patch. Well, if you even commit a misdemeanor while you're carrying a firearm, that can be elevated to a felony.
Yes, easily. And like I said, though, if he hadn't drawn the gun at the time, he can also get charged, like you said, with the fact that he knew he was armed and he was trying to start a fight so that he could finish it with his gun. That's not going to look good on him. But the guy in the wheelchair, if someone came over right now and stole my hat and said, I'm not giving it back to you till you prove you own a Beretta, I'd be like, 911, hey, come down here and get this motherfucker before I shoot him. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to attack him.
That's the reasonable thing to do,
Yeah, so that whole pulling out a knife and a gun and charging at him, probably not the best idea. Probably should have drawn attention to what was going on, had people around, because people around, I'm sure, would have helped.
Oh, well, he said, hey, he took my patch, and they can see that he has one leg and he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, maybe they wouldn't have, though, because people these days kind of suck.
Oh, yeah.
People would rather film a bad situation than stop a bad situation.
Yeah.
That dude needs a beating.
Oh, definitely. As much as I would never taunt someone for no reason, I definitely wouldn't do it if I'm carrying a firearm. Because heaven forbid they catch me and they say, oh, you instigated something and you had a firearm on you? Oh, well, then we're slapping the cuffs on you.
The one time in the long time that I've ever started trouble with someone, first thing I did was took my gun off and stuck it in my trunk before I went over and threatened to drag them out of their car and beat their ass.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not going to do that with my gun on me. And I shouldn't have been doing it, period. But they tried to run me and an old lady off the road, and I had my young kids in the car at the time. So I wanted to give him the lesson of you don't do that bullshit. Because if I was someone who was a little bit more hot-headed, I probably would have shot you or beat you or drug you out of your car and beat your ass.
Yeah.
And he called the police on me. And two things that kept me out of trouble was one, I called the police on him first. And that means a lot, whether you believe it or not, when it comes to confrontations like this. And two, he even said I took my gun off and put it in the trunk. So therefore I didn't get charged with threatening someone while armed. And a third thing is he ended up having like 3 or 4 warrants on him when he called police, which I'm like, so he lost the Darwin Award that day. Because I left. I wasn't going to hurt him. I left. He called the police and had warrants.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing with this man in the wheelchair, this is a lesson. Let's say it had not been an airsoft gun. It had been a real gun. That's all the more reason not to taunt somebody who's in a wheelchair. You don't know what they have on their person. You go rip their patch off, they might shoot you. They might have PTSD from having served in battle. You don't know who you're dealing with. This is a total stranger. Do not mess with this person.
I mean, the wheelchair doesn't really come into it. Treat people how you'd like to be treated in general. A polite society is an armed society.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think it looks worse, though, because the man's missing a leg and he's in a wheelchair. It just makes the other guy look more like a dick.
Oh yeah, I mean, in the scheme of things, the main bad guy here is the guy going out doing the valor check and trying to pretend like he has some sort of right to do that. He's the bad guy in this. The guy in the wheelchair did some stupid shit that muddies the water.
Yeah, for his own case when it finally goes to court. Yeah.
But other than that, he wasn't the bad guy. He didn't initiate the situation. The guy who initiated the situation is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I think we've got everything covered, and we're over time. If you got something else, keep going.
No, that was what I had to bring to the table. What about anyone else in the chat? Does anybody else have any current events they want to talk about?
What do y'all think the odds of this rebate check everybody's talking about is supposed to be a $1,390 rebate check from the IRS now?
It's not happening. Congress already said that's not happening. So
I thought they said no to the 2,000, but yes to the 1,390.
The last thing I saw was the guy in charge of the, what do they call that? The committee that does the financial blah blah blah. Oh, what do they call that committee? They were like, yeah, it's not happening. So as far as I can tell right now, it ain't gonna happen. Because where would it come from? I mean, the money's not there. So
supposedly Doge found the money, didn't they? Wasn't that the big claim to fame?
Doge didn't do anything other than help people like Elon Musk. That's all Doge did.
That screw over the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife, where they can't hire on new people for the national parks and state parks.
Yeah, and then say it saves us money, even though the park services make a profit of like $50 billion a year. They're a profit organization, not a deficit organization. In fact, they're one of the most profitable government organizations there is. So they weren't cutting money from the budget. They were actually cutting money coming in, but they were making it easier for the big corporations to violate EPA laws.
It's not good.
357 SIG or 40 Smith & Wesson for concealed carry, said Frosty. Either one. I mean, I like 357 SIG a lot, but I ain't going to, turn my nose up at 40 either.
Yeah, it really depends on what kind of situation you think you're going to get yourself into. Because if you can't stop a threat with 6 rounds of 357, chances are you can't stop that threat.
I think he means 357 SIG.
Oh, SIG. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's 357 SIG is superior to 40 all day long. It's just a matter of, do you want to pay the upcharge for the ammo and the scarcity on the magazines?
Yeah, that's the big issue. But I like 357 SIG is my favorite. But if you choose 40 over it, I'm fine with that too. It's not like you're carrying 9mm or something.
Yeah, you got some decent stopping power either way.
Let's see here. I think we are all caught up on everything. I think I got at least most, if not all, of the questions answered that I saw come in. So, all right. Well, that's it for us today then. and I want to clarify one thing before we go, because everyone always jumps on me every time when I say, "Oh, he said that serving in the military is not a good thing." No, I said it doesn't give you right just for serving in the military to go out and think you have a right to police and harass other people. It doesn't. If you do it, I hope they shoot you in the face, to be totally honest. It's kind of like the pranksters that go out and do shit to people, and then someone shoots one in the face and they act like it's a tragedy. I'm like, no, I wish somebody would shoot them in the face more often. They'd stop doing this kind of shit. And that first guy you were talking about that did it, you say he flew to places. So that means probably those people were more high profile people. If he's flying there to catch them, it's just not like he didn't go out on the street and harass a teenager wearing fatigues.
That's correct. Yeah, these were people who had had a prolonged presence of saying they were Navy SEALs, and he took objection to it because he was a legitimate SEAL.
Yeah.
So they were profiteering off of it.
Yeah. That's like I said, I don't like it when politicians, they like, I'm signing up for the Air Force and I'm going to get my pilot's license and I'm going to fly 2 very safe missions and then never really do anything else and get, called a hero and a veteran and all this other stuff. It's like the one guy said George W. Bush almost never showed up for service. Like when he was in the Air Reserves, he was like, he never showed up, but because he was rich and connected, we never did anything about it. It was there solely for a political resume.
Yeah. And he had the nerve to tell an amputee that he had a run-in with a cedar tree that bruised his leg. He's talking to a man with amputated limbs about how he bruised his leg. He ran into the tree.
That I have a problem with, but not most people. Like stolen valor don't bother me. If it's some guy with who's mentally deficient in one way or another, who's out, just hoping people look at him and go, "Oh, thank you for your service." I'm going to wonder more what's wrong with this poor guy and what does he need in his life to make things better for him. Then I am going to be like, he's a monster. And I think the guys that go out and harass people, they're the fucking assholes.
Yeah, and whether we're armed or not, we should not confront these people, but especially if we're armed. Do not start trouble with strangers. Yeah. Cannot end well.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying never get involved, but don't be the person starting problems. If you see a problem, I ain't got no problem with people trying to step in and solve it, stop it in a responsible way. And like I said, I have a personal story one time where I was when I was adopting my kids, I had to go to one of the places that provide services for foster kids, etc., lower income children. I had to go there and get some paperwork. And while I'm there, some woman's in there with her baby and some guy comes in, tries to grab the baby and run out. And people just watch and they weren't doing anything. And I was over at the table doing something. This woman and this man are literally playing tug of war with this baby. And the only person that got involved is this old woman. And she went over and got in between it and everything and started screaming for help. So I went over and I grabbed the baby. And I was like, okay, what's going the fuck on? She's like, it's my baby. He's my ex-husband. He's trying to take the baby. He doesn't have custody. And he says, it's my fucking baby. I'll do whatever I fucking want. You better get out of my way, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, you're like 5'4" and 90 pounds. You aren't going to scare me. So don't try the whole I'm black, so you should be afraid of me, which is what he was trying to do. So I said, well, let's call the police. We'll get this settled. And he's like, I don't care. I don't need no fucking police. I'm taking my baby. And all. I'm like, no, I don't know who's right or who's wrong here. Yeah. I didn't try to get confrontational with either one of them. I'm like, I don't know who's right or who's wrong. Usually the baby's in the care of the mother. So I'm leaning towards that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stand here. She's going to hold the baby. You're going to stand here. And when the police get here, it'll get settled. And of course, he ran off before the police got there. But I mean, you don't have to get in and start swinging or punching or screaming or anything. Just try to get in and defuse the situation if you can.
Yeah. The bystander effect is real. I mean, people look to each other for validation instead of using their own fucking brain to think. People are just sheep these days.
Yeah. I actually have that on video because somebody filmed it.
Mm-hmm. I had to stop some young guy from beating the hell out of an old man on a metro bus here. It was terrible. Yeah. Nobody else wanted to do anything. There were people that got off the bus because they witnessed somebody beat another person. Like, that's not what that requires. I just pulled the younger person off of the older person and said, don't touch this man again. But it's amazing the sheep mentality. oh, I'm just going to run from this problem. Yeah.
You got to be careful. Most assholes are counting on people not getting involved, but then some of them are just crazy motherfuckers that'll stab you. So you got to be careful, and you got to protect yourself. But this whole notion now, this whole reality nowadays, that people would rather film a bad situation than stop it. That's one of the things that's wrong with a lot of people these days. They worry more about, hey, how many hits can I get off this on YouTube, rather than should I stop that guy from hitting that lady?
Oh, yeah, that's what happened in Cincinnati with that beatdown. Somebody just recorded it, and they just kept shouting, oh, to get hits on their page. It's terrible.
All right, everybody. That looks like that's going to be it for us today. We went over, I think, in the long run. We started late, too, so I don't know how far we got into it. But thanks, everybody, for coming. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for participating here. Remember, we do this every Saturday. If you want to be part of the roundtable, let me know. Usually you can come in the night of the chat, let me know. If you got questions you want to ask the roundtable, think of them in advance and have them ready for Saturday. I want to thank everybody for being here, everybody participating. Appreciate everything everybody does. We'll see y'all again next Saturday with the No Fudd Zone podcast. And I'll see y'all tomorrow with our regular podcast. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe. Till we see you again, and everybody wave and say goodbye.
Bye, everybody.